New today, a federal appeals court has upheld the verdict that found President-elect Trump sexually abused writer E. Jean Carroll, denying Trump's request for a new trial. CNN's Kara Scannell is with us now on this. Kara, what did the court say about Trump's appeal in this case?
So, Brianna, the federal appeals court said that the trial judge, Judge Lewis Kaplan, who had made decisions about evidence that came into the case, they said that he didn't abuse his discretion when he made those judgment calls about what the jury could hear. Trump had challenged this verdict on the grounds that the judge had allowed two women who separately and independently accused Trump of sexual assault from testifying. Those two women were able to testify in the case, and so Trump was challenging that ruling. Now, the appeals court saying that they found that the trial judge made no errors, but they said even if he had, the strength of Carroll's case outweighed any decision that would give Trump a new trial. So the appeals court saying that Trump does not get a new trial in that one Carroll lawsuit. Now, Carroll's attorney, Roberta Kaplan, issuing a statement today saying that both E. Jean Carroll and I are gratified by today's decision. We thank the Second Circuit for its careful consideration of the parties' arguments. Trump's team also responding to this decision. Their Trump campaign spokesman, Stephen Chung, saying the American people have reelected President Trump with an overwhelming mandate, and they demand an immediate end to the political weaponization of our justice system and a swift dismissal of all of the witch hunts, including the Democrat-funded Carroll hoax, which will continue to be appealed. We look forward to uniting our country in the new administration as President Trump makes America great again. So signaling there that they are going to try to appeal this further. But that said, Brianna, this moment, this appellate court decision does bring E. Jean Carroll closer to collecting on that $5 million that the jury awarded her when they found Trump liable for sexually abusing her and for defaming her when he denied that abuse. Brianna?
What about the separate civil case against Trump? Does this verdict have any bearing on that, the one where a jury awarded E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million after finding that Trump had defamed her?
So in that case, that is also up on appeal, but they're arguing different legal grounds. So it's not clear how much this could impact the other one. Trump's team in that appeal are focusing on that Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity, saying that it should apply in that case because the judge had said that they were too late to try to assert presidential immunity when Trump had responded to Carroll's claim while he was president. So now they're trying to get an appeals court to take a second look at that, among other legal arguments. Now, they have just begun to file the motions on that, so a decision by the appeals court on that other case with that massive $83.3 million judgment is still going to be several months away. Brianna?
All right, Kara Scannell, thank you for the latest there.
A federal appeals court has upheld the verdict that Donald Trump is liable for sexually abusing writer E. Jean Carroll decades ago. This leaves the multi-million-dollar judgment against him intact. The saga between the two is far from over, though. Trump is also appealing a separate verdict involving Carroll, which found he defamed her by denying that sexual abuse. The president-elect spokesman, Stephen Chung, says more appeals are on the way. CNN senior legal analyst Elie Honig is here to help us break it all down. So, Elie, is there any chance the Supreme Court takes this case?
No, Pam, no chance at all. And here's why. First of all, the Supreme Court only takes a very small percentage of all cases brought to it, usually under 5%. And the mere fact that a case has the name Donald Trump attached does not necessarily make it Supreme Court worthy. What they're looking for is a major constitutional issue or some sort of issue where the courts are split around the country. But this is just really a garden variety civil case. The plaintiff, E. Jean Carroll, sued the defendant, Donald Trump. The jury found for the plaintiff. Donald Trump appealed. The appeals court said no. And that's that. This part of the case is over.
So you're very definitive on that. Absolutely not. And after we saw the court deny Trump's appeal today, do you think he has any chance of winning the appeal against the related defamation suit?
Yeah, so the case where the appeal was rejected today is actually the smaller of the two E. Jean Carroll cases. That's the one where Trump was found liable for $5 million. There's a separate case where he was found liable for around $83 million. I don't think the appeals court's going to throw that verdict out and completely get rid of the case, but it wouldn't shock me at all if the Court of Appeals does reduce that $83 million amount. It's kind of hard to justify why the first case, which involved actual sexual assault and defamation, would be worth $5 million, and the second case, which is only defamation, would be worth 16 times that, $83 million. So it wouldn't shock me to see that number come down on appeal.
All right, so Inauguration Day is in 3 weeks. Once Trump is back in the Oval Office, will the appeals process look different? I mean, this is a case he can't make go away with a pardon.
Yeah, so really important to understand when a person becomes president, he has very broad criminal protections. DOJ has long had a policy that they will not prosecute the sitting president. You also have immunity very broadly, according to the Supreme Court. But most of that does not apply civilly. And both of these lawsuits involving E. Jean Carroll, the New York State Attorney General's civil lawsuit, all of those can carry on unchanged, untouched, even after Donald Trump takes the oath of office on January 20th. So these civil cases, unlike the criminal cases, are mostly going to carry on.
All right, also tonight, I want to ask you about something else. Special counsel Jack Smith handed off what is left of the classified documents case to prosecutors in Florida. What is next in that case?
Yeah, so let's remember the classified documents case actually had 3 defendants. One of them was Donald Trump. Jack Smith has now dismissed that case because Donald Trump is about to become the sitting president. And as I just said, DOJ has long had a policy. We're not going to prosecute the sitting president. But there's 2 other guys, Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira, both of whom were Mar-a-Lago employees, co-conspirators. Neither of them is going to become president. So those cases can carry on. So what Jack Smith has done here is transfer those cases over to normal federal prosecutors, the U.S. Attorney's Office, not special counsel. So theoretically, Pam, those criminal prosecutions can carry on. But it would not shock me whatsoever if Donald Trump very quickly pardons both of them as soon as he takes office.
All right, Elie Honig with the legal lightning round tonight. Thank you so much. It's so great to see
Thanks,
you
Pam.
as always.